Welcome to Tired Mommy Revival. Hey mama, are you running on coffee fumes? Feeling like brain fog, fatigue, and anxiety are running the show? Do you wake up dreading the day ahead, already overwhelmed by the endless to-do list and unsure how you'll make it through? Do you long for the energy to enjoy motherhood and care for yourself, but feel stuck and unsure where to start? Let me remind you of something life-changing. You were created for more energy, more clarity, more joy. Hi, I'm Jerusha, certified holistic wellness coach, wife and mom to 2 wild boys and 1 baby girl in heaven. I know the exhaustion you're feeling because I've been there, barely making it through the day, relying on coffee and chocolate to survive, and wondering why nothing I tried ever made me feel better. Then, God stepped in and revealed a powerful truth. A woman's body is beautifully and uniquely designed to thrive. When we align with how God created us, we can boost our energy, bust through fatigue, and step into the vibrant, joy-filled life He has for us. Mama, I'm living proof that it's possible. These days, I wake up refreshed, nourish my body with intention, and navigate the chaos of motherhood with patience and peace. Most days. And I want to help you do the same. If you're ready to swap exhaustion for energy, brain fog for clarity, and guilt for grace, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into practical strategies, faith-filled truths, and empowering tools to renew your health, body, soul, and spirit. Are you ready for this? Let's do it, mama. Let's talk about one of the most powerful, underutilized tools for healing your body from the inside out: fasting. Now, before you picture some kind of hardcore starvation challenge or juice cleanse from the 90s, I want to assure you that's not what we're talking about here. This is not about punishment or restriction. This is about rhythm and restoration, about pressing pause on the constant noise in your life, your mind, and yes, your digestion, so your body can finally catch up and heal. Because mama, fasting is actually a built-in, God-designed way to detox, heal, and reset. And when done the right way, in alignment with your cycle, your stress levels, and your current health, it can be one of the most transformative tools for your hormones, energy, weight, gut, sleep, and yes, even your spiritual walk. But if you've ever tried fasting and felt worse, not better, you're not crazy. We're going to talk about that too. Now, my fasting journey began just a couple of years ago when I finally discovered not only the power of intermittent fasting, but how to do it the right way, which is huge. The truth is that before that, I really was not interested in fasting at all because number one, I love food. And even though I really didn't think of myself as an emotional eater, I was absolutely using food as a source of joy and comfort through my everyday life. Yes, even when I was eating like really healthy salads, still joy and comfort. And although I've healed a lot of my relationship with food, I definitely still find a lot of joy from eating an amazing meal and special treats too, even when they're healthy. So fasting to me sounded pretty miserable because it meant that I had to skip on the joyful moments of my day that I really looked forward to. And if you're a mom and you know that you look forward to food too, maybe it's not sitting down and eating a full meal, but it's those cookies or the ice cream at night, or, little nibbles of brownie throughout the day, or maybe your favorite candy. You know that food has become a lifeline to you, and cutting it out sounds so miserable. Also, when I would go to church and our pastor would call for a fast, I would attempt to join in, but I would feel so miserable that I could not function. It wasn't just that I was hungry, I literally could not walk around and function. I felt dizzy and nauseous and sick to my stomach. Like nothing was getting done. And I had to work and be a mom and do the laundry and cook dinner and all the different things. And the truth was is that none of that was going to happen if I fasted. And so I didn't fast spiritually or health-wise for a really long time because it was a completely miserable experience for me. But what I didn't realize was that there are rules to fasting. And even though fasting can help every single area of your health in such a powerful way, there are some areas of your health that you have to get in alignment first before you can fast well and have a good experience. But when you do, fasting is incredible and you will feel incredible, not just after, but during a fast. If you're doing it right, you will feel incredible during a fast. And you may not have heard this before, but women should never fast the way that a man fasts. And a lot of recommendations out there in the world are a one size fits all protocol for fasting. And the truth is that what's benefiting your husband may actually be harming you and your hormones. So we are going to dive into this today and talk about how to do it right so that you can have an incredible fasting experience. This is one of the biggest things that I teach in my Live Healthy Mama course. I walk you through it in your individual, unique experience. I help you set up yourself for success in the beginning in a very gentle, manageable way. And then we start diving into some of the deeper healing protocols. But first, let's talk about why your body even needs fasting and detox. We live in a world that's constantly feeding us food, noise, information, and stress. Our bodies were not created to be on and digesting 24/7. Fasting gives your body a break. It gives your gut time to rest. It gives your liver time to detox. And it gives your brain a chance to reset. When done well, fasting can support fat burning, especially the stubborn kind around your belly, balanced hormones, improved insulin sensitivity, cellular renewal called autophagy, more on that in just a sec, and mental clarity. Plus, an even deeper connection to God in the midst of it if you're doing it with spiritual purposes as well. It's not just about skipping meals, it's about making space physically and spiritually for healing to happen. Now, here's where it can get tricky because fasting can backfire if your body's already overwhelmed. Let's talk stress. When your stress levels are healthy, fasting actually creates a positive stress response. Your body adapts and gets stronger. It's called hormesis. But if you're already stuck in survival mode, hello, mom life, your cortisol is through the roof, you're exhausted, you're not sleeping, and your adrenals are tapped out, fasting can tip you over the edge. Think of it like this. Fasting is a workout for your cells, but if your body is already burnt out, fasting is like throwing it into a boot camp with no sleep and no fuel. It's not gonna go well. And then there's insulin resistance. This one's huge for women, especially after having kids. If your body is insulin resistant, it means your cells aren't responding to insulin properly. So your body stores more fat and has trouble accessing the energy already stored. Trying to fast when you're insulin resistant is like being locked out of your own pantry. You've got food, but your body can't get to it. So you end up shaky, tired, and cranky by mid-morning. This was a huge factor to me. I never, ever in a million years thought that I was insulin resistant. And even when I got tested at the doctor's office for diabetes, which runs in my dad's side of the family, they told me that I was perfectly fine. So this wasn't something I was ever looking at. But I was shaky, tired, cranky, nauseous, and feeling so sick because my insulin resistance was blocking my body's ability to get to the energy stores that it should have been able to get to in the middle of a fast. So, when you're fasting, your body is still accessing energy from your muscles and your fat cells. But if you're insulin resistant, your body can't get to those energy reserves, which means you're just starving yourself and you literally have absolutely no energy. So, how do you know if your body is not ready to fast? Here are some red flags. You feel exhausted, foggy, or anxious during a fast. You might crash mid-morning or get shaky without food. You have intense cravings, especially for sugar or carbs. You can't sleep or you wake up around 2 a.m. You're constipated or bloated often. Your PMS is worse than usual, which if you're not fasting at the right times as a woman, your PMS can actually get worse. And you could be fasting but gaining weight. Yes, it can happen. It's miserable and it's absolutely the last thing that you want to happen and is definitely a key result that something is off in your body. Also, your mood could be all over the place. Now listen, if you're experiencing some of these are not signs that you're failing. They are signs that your body needs support before you go into fasting. They're clues. And when we start listening to our body and picking up on those clues and honoring what our body really needs, we can bring it back into alignment so that it can work the way that it was created to work. Because when your body is ready, fasting becomes a beautiful rhythm of healing. Here's how you know that fasting is working for you. You feel calm and focused during fasting. You have great mental clarity. Also, you're not obsessing over food or crashing midday. You have incredible energy and it's actually more stable. You also sleep amazing. Your skin clears up. Your digestion improves. Your mood evens out. You start losing that stubborn weight and your period becomes more manageable. Fasting done well brings so much freedom. You stop being ruled by cravings and exhaustion and start feeling in control again. If you're doing your fast well, then you should not be hungry all the time. When you're coming up to ending your fasting window and your body's ready for a meal, yes, you'll feel hungry, but you should not be starving the whole time, and you definitely should not feel exhausted. You should actually feel incredibly energized, have amazing mental clarity, and be really patient and calm. If you're not experiencing that, let me tell you, you might be thinking, Jerusha, you are insane. There's no way that fasting does that to your body. Maybe for you, but not for me. Let me tell you, I thought the same thing, but when I aligned my body and my health, this was absolutely possible, and this is a reality that I live in that I never thought was possible. Okay, let's get a little nerdy just for a second, because what's happening inside your body when you fast is so incredible. This is how God created us, you guys. Number one is autophagy kicks in. This is your body's way of cleaning out damaged cells and replacing them with fresh, healthy ones. This can help with everything. I mean, cellular health is at the base of disease prevention, everything from Alzheimer's to cancer and anything in between. Also, insulin sensitivity improves, which means your body burns fat more efficiently and stops storing everything as extra weight. But if you listen to our last episode, you know that you got to get your insulin sensitivity in check a little bit so that you can fast well. Next, your brain fog clears because fasting stimulates brain-derived neurotropic factor, which helps with memory and clarity. This basically just means you're going to have amazing mental clarity and focus, and you will not be struggling with brain fog. Next is your hormones start to rebalance, especially estrogen and progesterone, when fasting is done at the right time of your cycle, but it's important to do it at the right time. Next is your inflammation lowers, which helps with joint pain, skin issues, anxiety, your immune system, and so many things. Now, here's something that's often missed. Fasting activates a detox you can't get from food alone. You can eat all the kale and drink all the lemon water in the world, but nothing gives your liver, gut, and immune system the same chance to deep clean like fasting. Autophagy and stem cell regeneration don't really get triggered until you stop eating long enough for your body to switch from digestion to repair mode. That's like saying you cook dinner and also deep clean your house at the same time. How well is that going to go? Like, cook a big gourmet meal for people coming over to your house and also deep clean at the very same time, not in the same day, at the same time. It's not going to happen, right? The food is going to burn or the house will not be clean. That's basically what your body is trying to do. It can't deep clean on a cellular level and focus on digestion at the same time. It needs to do one or the other. And when you take a break from digestion, it gives your body that chance to deep clean and restore your body the way that it's supposed to on a cellular level. That's why fasting has been shown to reduce inflammation, slow aging, lower disease risk, and even support healing from autoimmune issues, hormonal imbalances, and so much more. This is the kind of deep cellular restoration that God built into your body, but it requires rest, space, and trust. So, how long should you fast? I do want you to understand that different lengths of fast have different benefits in your body, but I want to keep it really simple for you. So let me give you just a few points. A 12-hour fast, for example, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., is gentle and great for hormone balance, gut health, and better sleep. 14 to 16 hours is a popular intermittent fasting window, and it's great for burning fat, blood sugar support, and mental clarity. And a 24-hour fast, which you need to work up to, can be powerful 1 to 2 times a month, but only if your stress, sleep, and nourishment are solid. You got to be eating the right things. Next is an extended fast, which is 3+ days. And it's not recommended for most women, especially not in seasons of hormone rebuilding, adrenal healing, or postpartum. So it can be extremely helpful, especially if you have had any kind of cancer or cancer treatment. An extended fast can be so healing for some of those really deeper healing things. But the thing is that you need to have your body in the right place, and you need to have a plan in place to do this really well. And if you're wondering how to do that and all the ins and outs, I show you exactly what you need to do for your body and your situation in my Live Healthy Mama course. Okay, let's not forget cycle syncing. We need to sync up our fasting with our hormonal cycle. The best time to fast is when your estrogen levels are high during the month. And that's because estrogen and cortisol work pretty well together. Estrogen is really sensitive to insulin, so you don't want to eat a lot of sugar or even carbs during that time, but you can handle more stress. And this is a perfect time to balance out your hormones because your body is primed to handle it in conjunction with the high estrogen. But you want to avoid deep fasting in the time where your progesterone is high during the month. And so when progesterone is high, progesterone and cortisol are not friends. They do not want to be on the playground at the same time. If you start stressing out your body when progesterone needs to be high, it's going to plummet your progesterone levels, and it's going to be PMS, chaos, and it's also going to affect your fertility levels as well. That time of the month where progesterone needs to be high, you need to nourish your body and not restrict it. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and ask, Why did God design fasting in the first place? In Matthew 6, it doesn't say if you fast, it says when you fast. God took it for granted that his people would fast. Fasting has always been part of the spiritual walk for clarity, humility, deeper intimacy with God, and dependence on him. In Acts 3, fasting was part of how the early church heard God's voice. And in Joel 2, it was a call to return and be restored. Fasting isn't legalistic, it's invitational. It's a rhythm of realignment, body, soul, and spirit. When you fast from a place of peace and purpose, everything aligns. Now, if you're doing fasting for a spiritual purpose, I don't believe that you should have weight loss in mind. But here's the thing. God doesn't do anything with a singular purpose. Everything he does is multifaceted, and he called the people to a spiritual practice knowing that it would also have physical benefits. When I fast, I have more peace and patience. Those are fruits of the Spirit. And so what's benefiting me physically is benefiting me spiritually too. And I really cannot separate those even if I tried, because God created fasting to be powerful, body, soul, and spirit. And so if you're going into a fast for the purpose of weight loss, if you want to pray during the fast, do it. But don't call it a spiritual practice if you're doing it for a physical reason. But know that if you're doing it for your physical health and then you go to do it for a spiritual practice, you'll be able to do it well because you learned how to fast well and how to build up your health so that you could participate in that spiritual practice. For years, my health wasn't aligned and I was unaware, but it kept me from experiencing the benefits of this spiritual practice as well. And so keep it in mind. Decide before you go into the fast, am I doing this for a spiritual reason or am I doing it for a physical reason? And commit to that. But know that the implications are multifaceted. God had so many different ways of protecting the people in the Bible before we had science from things that would create disease, like telling them what water they could or couldn't drink, or what animals they should or shouldn't eat, and what food was good for them. And he built in fasting as a natural disease prevention as well. So it is always God's desire that we would fast, whether it's physical or spiritual. I honestly believe that he wants us to do it for both because that's what he created us for. Now, if we're going to fast, how do we get our body ready to fast? Let's start with a quick start checklist that you can use to fast better today. Number 1 is stabilize your blood sugar. Focus on meals with protein, fat, and fiber. Next, support your liver. Eat bitter greens, cruciferous veggies, and drink lots of water. Next is prioritize sleep. Your body needs to feel safe and rested to go into those deeper healing modes. Next, lower your stress load. Create margin. Breathe deeply and get outside. Also, eat enough. Undereating during a non-fasting window will backfire when you're trying to fast. You also want to track your cycle and honor your hormonal needs. Mama, healing starts with alignment, not hustle. If this checklist left you wondering exactly how you do some of these things, I would encourage you to go back and listen to any of the root cause episodes that you might have missed, because we broke down every single one of those things in those other episodes. Get some more information about the specific area where you need more support. Also, don't feel like you have to do everything at once. Pick one area you feel like you can manage right now and start there. Small changes add up to big results. So don't get discouraged. Pick one thing and get better at that today. Now, this wraps up our root causes series. I hope this conversation left you feeling equipped and encouraged. not just to do more, but to understand more about how your body works and how God designed it to thrive. If this episode stirred up more questions, maybe about your own cycle, fasting, or what your body is trying to tell you, I'd love to hear from you. And if there's a topic you'd love me to cover next, let me know. This podcast is for you, and I want to serve you right where you are. I'm going to leave a link down below in the podcast show notes for you to go and leave me a comment. Whether you want to write me a message or leave me a voice message, I would love to hear from you. Until next time, Mama, remember, you were created for wellness, and fasting is one of the many tools God has given you to walk in that truth. Mama, I hope this episode blessed you and reminded you that you were beautifully and uniquely made to thrive. If today's conversation spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to take a moment to leave a rating and review. Not only does it encourage me, but it helps more tired mamas discover the hope, healing, and energy they've been searching for. You're not in this alone. Make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Together, we'll reclaim your energy, renew your health, and revive your spirit, one step at a time. Until next time, remember, you are beautifully designed by God to live with energy, clarity, and joy. You're not just surviving, Mama. You're stepping into the vibrant life you were created for. I'm cheering you on.